After we learned about the len function, I'm sure some of you might have tried something like this. You might have tried to find the length of a number which is not inside a double quote or a single quote. If you run this, you must have gotten a type error, and the type error must be object of type int has no length. Now at first you might be confused what this means, but this just means that the len function can only work with strings, meaning a piece of text or number which is inside a double quote or a single quote. It cannot work with any other thing like numbers. Now today we are going to be looking at four of the main primitive data types of Python. The first one we have already seen, which is strings. Strings are just a piece of text or number or anything that's inside a double quote. For example, hello. If I run this, as you can see, it prints hello. You can also include numbers like hello 1 2 3 and it will work just fine. If I try 1 2 3 plus 3 4 5 and if I run this, what do you think is going to happen? Will it add these two numbers? Or will it concatenate the strings and we will get 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5? Pause the video and try this on your own and figure out. If I run this, as you can see, it concatenated the string instead of adding the numbers because this is a string. Now the second type of data type which we are going to be looking at are integers. Integers are just numbers like age equals to 12. This is a number, but if I wrap it around a double quote or a single quote, this becomes a string. Now integers can also be added like 1, 2, 3 plus 3, 4, 5. If I run this code, it is going to add these two numbers like shown over here instead of concatenating them like the case in strings. And the third data type are floats or floating point numbers. Floats are numbers which have decimal places like 3.14159, which is the value of pi. This is a float which we can store in a variable like pi. And if I print this value, as you can see, it works completely fine and it prints that value. Now the fourth and final primitive data type are booleans. Booleans have only two values. The first one is true and the second one is false. Now remember that these start with a capital letter and not a small letter like F. It is capital F. Now we will be learning more about booleans and the use cases of booleans in further tutorials. But in this tutorial what you need to know that booleans have only two valid values, which is true and false with a capital T and a capital F. Now the last thing I want to show you in this video are indexes. As you can see, we have this piece of string. Now I'm going to print it and I will comment these lines. And the shortcut for commenting these lines are just command / on Mac and control / on Windows. If you have your cursor on that line and use the shortcut, it is just going to comment it out on its own. And you can also select them and comment them out. So in here we have 1 2 3 3 4 5. This is our string. Now what indexes are is the place value of each string. We thought of a string as a pearl necklace with characters. Now a subscript is just used to figure out or access a character in a place of the string. So what we do is every string starts at the zeroth place, then 1, then 2, then 3 like this. As you can see in here, to access h, we have to give square brackets and then inside that we have to give 0, which is going to give the 0th character inside that string. Now why is it starting at 0? Because in programming we don't count from 1, we start counting from 0, so from the whole numbers. Now I have a quiz for you. How would I access the letter E? I would access the letter E by using a square bracket and then 1 inside it, which is going to give me the character in the 1th place of that string, and so on and so forth. For L I will use 2, for the second L I would use 3, for the O I'm going to be using 4. Now let's work this practically in code. So let's say I want to access this 4. The 4 is at 0, 1, 2, 3 at the 4th index. So I am going to be using square brackets, and then inside that I will provide 4. What it's going to do is inside this string, it is going to give me the character which is at the 4th index, which if we start from 0, 1 is at 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and finally 4 is at the 4th index. So if I provide 4 in here and I run the code, as you can see, it gave me the character 4. If I provide 0, it should give me 1, like in here. In the next video, I have a coding challenge for you which is going to test your knowledge of variables. So for all of that and more, I'll see you there.